In our last Triple T, we started our three-part series on the 3 most common standardized test questions I get from parents, and we answered the first question: when should my child take the SAT or ACT? Today, we take on the second most common question: when should my child start prepping? At Zara Tutoring, we've found that 11 weekly sessions is the sweet spot for being able to cover our curriculum with students, homing in on the areas they have deficiencies based on the results from our SAT, ACT diagnostic, for students to implement the strategies we teach them on enough practices that they become second nature, and for students to get to apply the strategies they practice for 7 weeks straight in our abbreviated practices to the full section practices and full practice tests they do in weeks 8 and 9 respectively, while still having 2 more weeks before the test so we can provide further instruction on the areas they still struggled with on their practice tests. Now, for some reason, I'm seeing parents deciding to do our 11-week program but holding off on taking the SAT for 3 or 4 months because the student doesn't feel ready just yet. I don't recommend that. I equate this to a professional athlete training intensely for the Olympics and then deciding to go on a 3 to 4 month hiatus, throwing on their running shoes the day of the Olympics and seeing if their body is still just as ready as it was during their focused training. We always have our 11-week programs finished the week prior to the test date, so students get in their last week of practices, rest the day before the test, and crush it on the day of the test. Stay tuned for our final installment of this 3-part series where we'll answer the question of how many times to take the SAT or ACT.